Hello, my name is Samantha Tuffin, and I'd like to tell you about this aspect of our installation, which is incorporating the arts, the visual arts, into the study of science and the natural world in a meaningful way. Our group installation piece is called Greece Inspired by the Arts. And my personal piece looks at the two questions: are students mentally healthy in the classroom? And how can people use art to strengthen and explore their mental health? Installation art is an effective way for an individual to express an idea in a creative and visual way. It encourages others to get involved in the art and challenge a particular way of thinking. Cole and McIntyre reveal that installation art can take on many forms. I've chosen to use pastel and paper as my medium in this particular piece. However, furthermore, I'll explain that it could be used with many different mediums. I'm incorporating science into visual arts, and particularly looking at psychology and the study of the brain and the effects of mental health on a person as a whole. Liam Putong, Fanani and Verinder describe that unless students are mentally healthy first and foremost, they are not able to learn to their full potential. My installation looks at how art can be used as a type of therapy to express emotions and enhance our mental health and well-being. Here you can see I created an example of a picture of an olive tree, which is a Greek symbol of peace. The olive tree ties into our theme, Greece Inspired by the Arts, and has been an iconic symbol for Greek people throughout history. My particular piece is not site-specific, and it could be created in any setting and in many different ways. Piaget was an inspiration for our group installation. We created it so that the viewer is invited to navigate and interpret it for themselves, while, as Vygotsky's theory suggests, they still have the opportunity to receive scaffolding if they wish. Vygotsky also suggests that a child's learning should be such so that they are building their topic knowledge surrounding the installation. Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory highlights that each child develops with many ecosystems, and an educator must always be aware of this throughout their learning. Each child comes to the classroom with unique experiences and beliefs about the world. By incorporating areas of Greece inspired by the arts, we invite students to approach our visual presentation as an individual and with the opportunity to interpret it in their own way. The various activities that we have presented cater for diverse learning styles and are all open-ended. So my installation example you can see here of the olive tree was created by myself and the assistance of my brother, mother and two young family friends, two young children. I gave them a faint outline of a tree with very little direction and asked them to colour it in with a colour that represented an emotion they might have been feeling at that time. I asked them to then write words to express what emotion was associated with each colour. So I didn't give them any direction, but they worked together to create a tree that sort of started off with sort of darker emotions and ended up at the top with lighter emotions. Out of these people, I chose to have quite a severe mental illness, and I found it beneficial to discuss how creating the artwork made them feel and why particular colours emphasise particular emotions. So the purpose of my creating this installation piece is to look at an individual's mental health and assist communication from teacher to student. I believe it can open up the conversation about what each student may be feeling, and it makes learning personal and relevant. Discussing with my brother afterwards, he said, "I find it very hard to put into words what I'm feeling and what it means to have depression. I wish I had have had more creative ways of using something other than words to get across my feelings to my teachers in school." This installation is somewhat incomplete also, which invites the audience to participate in its creation. The viewer is welcome to add colour and or words to the page so that they are really a part of its creation. I was inspired to look more into this art therapy by a lady called Kathy Macchiodi. She is the founder, director, and member of a Trauma-Informed Practices and Expressive Arts Therapy Institute in America. She describes art therapy as a form of expressive therapy that uses art materials such as paint or drawing and even digital media. And it combines traditional psychotherapeutic theories and techniques. Art therapy uses these psychological, interpersonal and somatic aspects of the creative process and also incorporates, someone's self-expression. When looking at mental health, art therapy is used in many different settings, including children, adults and families, and it integrates healthcare with their expressive art therapy. It could actually be through art, music, drama, movement or writing. And it supports traditional and complementary health practices and interventions. And its purpose is to use a more creative way in assistance with other techniques to explore what people may be going through. I was inspired to create this installation actually by the phenomenon that's going around of mindfulness colouring in books. I know many people have started using these books as a way of relaxing, bringing back their inner peace, exploring mindfulness. And I liked the simple idea of being able to create an artwork and use colour to express emotion, because I can see it can be used with any age group and in many different forms. This is just one way I've used it. I believe that by giving students a space to analyse their emotional needs, it allows them and their teachers to challenge their beliefs and conceptions about a child's outer and inner world, rather than making initial assumptions. I think being mentally healthy means looking at the whole person to develop and fulfil their potential, rather than making a judgment based on one aspect of who they are. So I think this activity could be used in grade 4, 5 or 6 in a science lesson. The Australian curriculum outlines in grade 4, science knowledge helps people to understand the effect of their actions, and living things depend on each other and the environment to survive. Grade 5 and 6 also say scientific knowledge is used to solve problems and inform personal and community decisions. And the growth and survival of living things are affected by physical conditions of their environment. Armstrong and de Botton explore the expression of art from the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks were immensely concerned with the outward as well as the inward excellence of their divinities. The overarching message of the Greeks was that we do not need to divorce the body from the spirit, and that our physical envelopes are not shameful or opposed to the so-called higher values. This explains that different cultures approach the body and spirit differently.
An example of a way you could use this in a lesson could be introduce the topic. So show students what it means to use colour to depict emotions, have a discussion about what colours mean to them, and explore different colours and mediums just by talking about it and showing examples, and explain to them initially that they are in a safe, judgment-free zone, and that their work can be personal and private if they wish. So I approached this idea from the research into inquiry-based learning. This gives an opportunity for students to have a more open-ended tasks and look at a bigger picture. In the classroom, this science lesson could be used by showing students some examples of what art therapy is and how it is used practically in the world, giving them a relevant description based on their particular learning level. Then they can explore how art may have helped them in the past, or helped them work through a particular emotion or even express that emotion. And this can direct their learning and decide what they would like to explore. So really giving them free will in what they would like to delve further into. Then in the development of the lesson, students can brainstorm and storyboard different emotions that they have felt, discussing that each emotion is okay and normal and natural to have throughout their own lives, whether it be positive or negative. Then have a discussion about how these emotions are expressed and how colour and different medium or artistic style could be used to express this emotion. So asking students if they feel comfortable to give examples of some time that they may have used their creative juices to express what they might not have been able to express in words. Then as an individual activity, students could go away in small groups or individually and create an image such as the olive tree of something that's meaningful to them. So they'll be given various mediums, whether that be paint, pastel, pencil, etc., and explore different colours and how that colour could be used to describe the emotions that they've felt throughout their lives. Now I've included words on my particular installation to sort of explore what the colour, which emotions associated with which colour. So students could be invited to do that, or they could even just discuss it verbally. So considering this is linking with science, they could delve deeper into the psychology of the brain and how creativity can actually send off positive signals in the brain. So in conclusion, Bernays, Sperling and Carter discuss the need for student-led, research-informed activism. And I truly believe this is one area not explored enough in schooling. And ultimately, the purpose of science education and a way that the arts could be meaningfully incorporated into other curricular areas. I believe that science is such an opportunity for students who want change or are seeking informed decisions about their world. And I think this is a great opportunity for educators and students to be collaborative and explore those big world questions and explore what it means to them and their own mental health. So this installation piece has given me an opportunity to look into how you can incorporate arts into the rest of the curriculum, and whether students are being encouraged to look at learning as something that's challenging and gives them an opportunity to think critically as a lifelong process. The national curriculum tells educators, it outlines the information that students should be learning and the steps to complete this. And I think that you can use that to delve deeper into a learning approach that may not be used in everyday school, such as exploring mental health and our own mental health. I've loved the process of creating this installation and having discussions with people, and allowed me to look a bit more outside the box in a classroom setting. Angelides and Michaladou discuss that the process of a collaborative creation in a primary school class can reduce social and academic marginalisation and increase the participation of marginalised children in the curricula, the cultures and the societies of school. So my great plan for this, if it was to be used in a classroom, would be something that can reach every child despite their background. Castano writes that the issue with the way many schools view the teaching of science and other subject areas is that it is always content driven. This approach has been based on transmitting already established scientific knowledge and may not allow room for science education to be value free or neutral. So I believe the purpose of this installation is to use a simple concept of colour and emotion to open the minds of their students so that we're better able to discuss our emotions free in a safe zone and in a way that is healthy and meaningful to students. And I truly believe it's our attitudes towards ourselves and towards our world that shape how we live and how the future of our universe becomes. So I hope that a whole installation of Greece inspired by the arts gives you a little insight into our thinking. Thank you.